Hi, boys and girls. Here I am again today. Happy Thursday. Hope you all are having a nice week. Today we're going to be continuing our character study, and I have a special book for you today. And this is one of my daughter's favorites. She likes to read this one before bedtime. This is a book that was bought for her called Mr. Puskins, a love story. And you can see that Mr. Puskins is a kitty cat, and he is pretty bad-tempered. You'll hear that word or that adjective to describe him throughout the story. So he is bad-tempered. This story is written and illustrated by Sam Lloyd. So that person drew the pictures and wrote the words, so author and illustrator. And tomorrow we'll be reading the second part to this story. And you'll see the character traits of Mr. Puskins carry over into tomorrow's story too. So he, the way he is the way he is in this story and in tomorrow's story. So very cool. All right, so let's get started. Mr. Puskins, a love story. So you can see he is scratching the walls. And you can see he did it all over the house. It's a naughty cat, huh? All right, so I still am like backwards and I still cannot figure this out. Okay, which way do I want to go here? This way. This is the story of a little girl called Emily and her dear cat, Mr. Puskins. Emily adored Mr. Puskins. Each morning she would invent fun games for Mr. Puskins to play. In the afternoons, she'd brush his long fur coat and tell him, "Oh, Mr. Puskins, what a handsome boy you are. I do love you ever so much." So, as you can see in these pictures, boys and girls, Emily, she is so happy. She loves Mr. Puskins. She thinks that he is like the best thing in the world, but how does Mr. Puskins feel about all of this? What word could you describe him as right now? He looks very irritated. He does not like being held or getting his fur brushed. This is funny because when I was little, my grandma had a kitty cat that was big and fluffy like this, and I used to try and carry it around and pet it all the time, and he hated it, so he would always run away from me. His name was Misty. So this book makes me laugh. Anyway, and each night Emily would snuggle up in bed and read Mr. Puskins a special story. But Mr. Puskins never listened. The girl's constant babbling, blah-de-blah, blah, blah, bored his whiskers off. He wanted more than this dull life. So you can see he's kind of staring out the window. He's wondering, what is it like to be out there? I'm stuck at home with this Emily. We're stuck at home. I don't really like it here. He wants to get out and about. So one night, he left. And he went places he wasn't meant to go and did things he wasn't meant to do. And he made friends with the pesky cat gang. So you can see he's digging through trash cans. He's pulling up flowers, and he made friends with these cats. And you can tell that these cats, they don't really have homes to be in. They're all just out wandering around. Life without Emily was such naughty fun. It says, meow, meow. But time passed and things changed. The rain fell and an icy wind blew. The things Mr. Puskins wasn't supposed to do weren't fun anymore, and his new friends weren't really very nice. So you can see a lot of them return to their homes. Can you see that? How lovely it would be to have someone brush his fur and tell him how much they loved him. He felt all alone. So you can see poor Mr. Puskins. He's out in the rain. He's all dirty. His fur is all hanging off of him because he's all wet. Yikes. Then, down the gray streets fluttered a tatty old poster. It was a picture of Mr. Puskins. It says, "Lost, Mr. Puskins," and a phone number to call. He stared at the photo. What a bad-tempered cat he looked. Ooh, there's that adjective we were looking for, bad-tempered. So he's just kind of a moody cat. What a bad-tempered cat he looked. Emily had given him everything a cat could ever dream of, but he had never been nice to her. So look at his face. He's looking at his picture and he's going, "Oh my goodness, is that what I look like? Is that my grumpy, grumpy face?" How scared he felt. Or I'm sorry, how sorry he felt. So he's feeling very remorseful or sorry that he had treated Emily that way. Mr. Puskins found a phone. He dialed the number from the poster and waited anxiously. Someone answered. Meow, whimpered Mr. Puskins in a very sad little voice. Mr. Puskins, is that you? Oh, thank goodness. Wait there, I'll come and get you. So coming out of the phone, that was Emily. Mr. Puskins sat patiently. Would Emily find him? Did she still love him? He waited and waited, but Emily didn't come. Then, from over the mountains, he heard a car. Mr. Puskins' heart leapt. It was Emily. His dear Emily was coming for him. The car got nearer and nearer and then sped right past. Meow, well, Mr. Puskins, Emily doesn't love me anymore. But then, the car screeched to a halt and Emily jumped out. Mr. Puskins, my beautiful Mr. Puskins, she cried. I didn't recognize you. Emily scooped up her dear cat. At last they were together again. So now you can see he's changed quite a bit. Look at his face now. This is the end of a story of a little girl called Emily and her dear cat, Mr. Puskins. Mr. Puskins adores Emily. Every evening he cuddles her and purrs gently while she reads to him. Now both Emily and Mr. Puskins realize how lucky they are to have each other. And I like this part because he's looking at those scratches on the wall that he made at the beginning of the story. Like, oh my goodness, what did I do before? All right, so my computer just came unplugged. All right, so I hope you guys liked that story, Mr. Puskins. Tomorrow we'll read the second part. And some words that I would use to describe him at the beginning of the story would be grumpy, bad-tempered, and then at the end of the story, he's a thankful cat. He's thankful for the things he has, like an owner who takes care of him and loves him. He's also very loving to her as well. So there's that story. Don't forget. So this is our read aloud for Thursday. Wait. Did I plan too many books? What day is today? Today is Wednesday. Well, I'm recording this on Wednesday. We're reading this on Thursday. I'll have to plan another book for Friday. So that's what we will do. So here is... I'm all kinds of confused, you guys. I'm losing it. That's what happens when you're at home for so long. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Anyway, I'm going to just fast forward to on Friday. Don't forget to bring your book and your 2 adjectives to describe your character. We'll leave it at that. And I will email this to your parents and try and figure out what I'm doing. And somebody's calling for me. Do you hear that? All right. Bye, guys. Love you. See you tomorrow.